On May 1969, a young American soldier named Larry Morris clambered up a nameless hill in Vietnam's A Shau Valley. The hill had become known to the troops as Hamburger Hill, and over the next 9 days, it earned its grim reputation. Like many hills in the Vietnamese jungle, this one wasn't much to look at. It rose maybe 300 feet above the valley floor, capped with stunted trees and thick undergrowth. Yet for the U.S. military, it was a vital objective. The North Vietnamese Army had made it their home and were using it to launch attacks against American positions nearby. So on May 10, 1969, the U.S. launched an assault. The plan was straightforward. 2 battalions from the 101st Airborne would storm the hill from the west, while another attacked from the east. But as soon as the first troops reached the slopes of Hamburger Hill, they ran into trouble. The North Vietnamese had transformed the seemingly insignificant rise into a fortress. Every tree line, every clump of bushes was fortified. Bunkers were linked by a network of underground tunnels, and the defenders had a clear field of fire down the narrow paths leading to the summit. Within hours, the Americans realized they were in a trap. As wave after wave of U.S. soldiers went up the hill only to be cut down by enemy fire, the casualties mounted. At the end of the first day, 1 American was dead and 8 wounded. By the end of the second, more than 400. With each passing day, the jungle around Hamburger Hill ran red with blood. Men fell victim not just to bullets and grenades, but to the elements. Torrential rains turned the hill into a muddy quagmire, sucked at boots, and made the paths even more treacherous. The heat and humidity sapped their strength. Bites from biting ants swelled into painful blisters. Mosquitoes spread diseases that burned and blistered skin. Soldiers grew gaunt and haggard. Exhaustion gnawed at their minds. Sleep became a luxury, meals a rarity. After days of fighting, the Americans changed tactics. Instead of frontal assaults, they sent smaller teams to scout the hill and identify targets. But it was hard to find anything through the thick foliage and shifting mist. Sometimes all they could see were the whites of eyes staring back at them from the darkness. Then the shooting started. Even as casualties mounted, the Americans couldn't abandon the mission. To do so would mean giving up ground to the enemy. And as far as Washington was concerned, that was unthinkable. The hill had to be taken, period. And so they kept attacking. But as the days passed, the question on everyone's lips was, why? What was this hill really worth? As Private First Class Arthur Wilkins wrote in his diary, "I still don't know why we're up here. I don't want to get too negative, but I think this hill is made of death." After 10 days of fighting, the Americans finally took the hill. But victory was a hollow thing. When they searched the bunkers and trenches, they found them empty. The North Vietnamese had melted away into the jungle, leaving behind only an eerie silence and a landscape of destruction. Back home in the U.S., the images of weary soldiers clambering up a blood-soaked hill under a barrage of bullets made headlines. "What are we doing in Vietnam?" asked protesters who took to the streets. Even politicians and pundits wondered aloud if the hill was worth the staggering cost in lives and resources. The Battle of Hamburger Hill became a symbol of America's involvement in the Vietnam War, a conflict that many felt was unwinnable. In the end, the U.S. withdrew from Vietnam, but the memory of Hamburger Hill lives on in the hearts and minds of those who fought there. It's a reminder of a time when a hill became a battleground, and a battleground became a symbol of a nation divided.
The soldiers of Hamburger Hill did what they were told. They climbed, they bled, they mourned, and they remembered. Not just for a hill, but for each other. And now, it's our turn to remember them, to speak their names, to ask the questions they weren't allowed to. If this story moved you, subscribe for more untold chapters of our shared past. Like, share, and comment to keep their memory alive. History isn't just about dates, it's about people, and every voice that remembers helps silence the forgetting.